Hi, everybody. I've just been reflecting tonight on making a statement of faith on social media. I like to make posts on social media about my faith, but this being Good Friday 2019, it's a particularly good time to just acknowledge what Jesus has done for us. And I really struggled tonight with thinking about, well, what do I want to post today? What do I want to say? Because I found that it's kind of hard to get the message through in words. I grew up in the church, so every year I've heard the same story over and over. I've heard about the crucifixion, and sometimes when you read the same thing a lot, the words almost become it's hard to comprehend what they actually mean. And tonight, when we were in Good Friday church service, I couldn't shake a memory from my mind. As we talked about the story of Jesus and what it says in the Bible that he experienced, I remembered something that I had experienced, and it gave me some perspective that I wanted to share. So, first, just to remind you, in Matthew 27, this is what it says that Jesus experienced on Good Friday. Then the governor's soldiers took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole company of soldiers around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. They put a staff in his right hand. They knelt in front of him and mocked him. "Hail, King of the Jews," they said. They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. After they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to crucify him. And I haven't experienced anything remotely like that to that degree. I mean, none of us have. We live in America. We have terrible things that happen to us here, but I cannot understand what it is that he experienced that day. And the only thing that even can give me a glimmer is a time when I was on a global journey and I was helping a young girl that had been through a lot of trauma in her life. And there was this moment where she did not want to do what anybody told her to. And she took an opportunity to rear her head back and spit in my face. And I have never been spit on before. That is just not the way that we live here. I just have never experienced that before. And it gave me this tiny moment, this tiny glimmer into the most minute second of experience that Jesus had on Good Friday, where these people were beating him and flogging him and his flesh was coming open. And not only that, but they spit on him and humiliated him. And it being spit on was such a moment of helplessness. And Jesus' amount of helplessness and pain must have been, I just can't even comprehend how many times worse than the teeny tiny itty bitty moment that I had of helplessness and being spit on and mocked by this child. As I think about this Good Friday, I guess I would just encourage everyone to think about moments when you have felt ashamed or humiliated or helpless, or if you've been hit or beaten up or spit on or mocked. When you're not in the middle of it, it's hard to remember what that actually feels like. And so when we think about these words that are said in the Bible, I would encourage you today to try to think about a moment where you felt a tiny glimpse of what Jesus may have felt that day, and just try to comprehend how much more he experienced that for you, so that you would not have to experience it to the degree that he did. We all know today is not the end of the story. We have Easter coming, where we can celebrate that because Jesus endured all of that for us, he conquered death and he is resurrected again on Sunday. And so I hope you have a blessed Good Friday and Easter weekend, and and that you'll get to celebrate the resurrection in a couple of days.